Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Gary and the channel is called Clueless Reacts. Now today I'm going to look at something that I found on YouTube while scouring sort of reaction type of videos. How Britain looted $45 trillion from India. Now my daughter thinks I'm very anti-British. It's not at all. It's neither here nor there to me, but as I become older and the more I learn, I'm becoming increasingly embarrassed by being British. The things that happen in India with the British Raj for 200 years, this is something that we're not taught in school. We're not taught in school at all. We just taught how wonderful the British Raj was, what we gave to India, what we did to this, what we did to Australia, what we gave to the West Indies. And this is really all a lot of crap. So I'm just going to plunder through this. I don't know what's in it, I've not looked. Just a pure reaction to see what's actually in it. But I think that it's not going to be an awful lot different from what we've seen before, from the Dr. Shashi Tharoor that has done really well on this channel. So if you've not seen that reaction, please go and watch it. I get great comments from it because I'm truthful. I don't give you any bullshit. I don't say how wonderful Britain is. I'm appalled at what actually Britain did to India. And every day I learn more and more and more. And this is the good thing about the channel, that I'm learning so much about India and also about UK, because we're taught nothing of how much of a barbaric country we were, possibly still are, in the early days. And we were, virtually looting and pillaging countries and then leaving them willy-nilly just to get on with it. Which is exactly what's happened to India. So let's have a look and see, to see this headline, how Britain looted 45 trillion from India. Okay, let's go.
A lot has been written and said about the British rule in India. If you read their version of history, you would think that the British Raj was the best thing that could have ever happened to India. But the fact is that the British looted India. A greedy and racist British Raj financed its industrial revolution by robbing India, and now there is more data to prove it. A study by Indian scholars reveals stunning numbers. The British looted as much as $45 trillion. Let that number sink in. $45 trillion between 1765 and 1938.
So 170 years.
Just so that you get a sense of how big this sum is, let me give you another figure. The amount of money that the British looted from India, $45 trillion, is 17 times the current GDP of the UK. 17.
That's serious money.
That's how much India, which used to be one of the richest countries in the world, was reduced to one of the...
But $17 trillion in its own is an enormous amount of money. I mean, just now, America has just put through a package that's going to cost $2.3 trillion for new infrastructure. And that's been held in their government with absolute outcry. We can't afford this. Where are we going to get the money for this? So that's 2.3. So if you imagine that Britain has robbed 17, which is virtually 8 times, certainly 7 times, this money in the UK, and this is current day money. I beg his belief. It doesn't even compute to how much money we robbed.
Poorest. But defenders of the British Raj would argue otherwise. They claim to have given India democracy, a free press and the rule of law. They claim to have built the Indian Rail.
But we didn't give you democracy. You demanded democracy. You demanded independence through your demonstrations and your non-violent protests. So we didn't give you democracy. In fact, we gave you very little.
Taught Indians how to speak English and even play cricket.
Wow.
A British research company
asked citizens
of the UK about this in 2014. What what they found is astonishing. Nearly 2/3 of British citizens feel that the empire was something to be proud of. They did well, they believe. And that includes their politicians. They share this belief. One notable member of this club is a former Prime Minister. When David Cameron was in office, he was asked about his thoughts on the empire, and he said, "There is a lot that Britain can be proud of." The timing of the statement was even worse. He was visiting the Jallianwala Bagh in Amritsar in 2013. Listen to his comments, and I'm quoting. This
That's
is what
shocking.
the former British PM said.
That's shocking.
As I was asked the question yesterday, in terms of our relationship with India, is our past a help or a handicap? I would say that it's a help because of the shared history, culture, the things that we share, and also the contributions the Indians talk about that we've made. Contribution.
Yeah, but it's small fish. I mean, this time was the anniversary of Amritsar massacre. I mean, that is shocking. I mean, how can you get away with saying stupid things like that? Because even then again, he was a conservative, sort of stupid prime minister. These guys have no inkling of what happens. But I'm not surprised at 2/3 of the UK thinking that India have done a great job, or the UK have done a great job in India, because we're not taught any different. British schooling is done for British people. There's no bad things in it. There's no, we did this, we did that, we were horrendous to this race. I mean, we were really bad, seemingly, to the indigenous people in New Zealand. So, and they actually paid reparation to them. So, what is going on? I mean, I need to spend some time and looking at proper history to see how bad UK actually was, because every day it gets more embarrassing for me.
No word on the colonial loot, no word on the misdeeds, the rampant abuses. That's a part of history that has been conveniently brushed under the carpet. It is a fact that British school students do not learn much about their colonial past.
That's true.
Schools.
They learn nothing about it.
Here's a quick eye-opener for them and for all those people who believe that the Brits helped India. This is what they did. The British imposed heavy taxes on Indian producers. The British stole goods and exported them around the world for a profit of 100%. The earnings were then used to finance imports of strategic materials like iron, tar and timber from Europe. These were essential to the industrialization of the Great Britain. Due to loot from India, Britain had an impressive trade surplus that lasted for 3 decades in the 20th century. In fact, most of the so-called hallmarks, like the railways and the British architecture in India, were actually built by the Brits for themselves, for their own use, to help their own interests in India. These were no gifts for India or Indians.
Yeah.
Take the example of the railways. The British built the network for themselves. No two ways about it.
To make it easier
They
for
used
moving
their own
goods around.
technology. Indians were forced to buy British equipment at high prices. The bill was footed by Indian taxpayers. We paid them for building all this.
Now, I do know that during this time there was no Indians employed on the railway. They weren't even allowed to be ticket collectors. They were all white nationalists. Whatever, I'm sure they've probably come from UK. But why would they not employ Indians to do tasks like, train drivers, ticket collectors, working in stations? Everything was done by white people. And the train system in India grew and grew very well, but it was for the UK's own ends. They wanted to move things around India much quickly. So they left them with the train structure, but then they made them buy trains from UK. So it just gets worse.
British earned all the money, and now they want gratitude too. I'm afraid we can only give them numbers, and numbers they may not like. India's share of the world economy when Britain arrived on its shores was 23%. By the time they left, India's share was down to less than 4%.
Yeah, sure.
Why and how did that happen? Simply because India had been governed for all these years for the benefit of Britain. Britain's rise for 200 years was financed by its depredations in India. These are not my words. These are the words of Congress lawmaker Shashi Tharoor. Take a look at this.
I've done a video on Shashi Tharoor. You can see that it's my fourth video that I did in the series.
Indian politics. Narendra Modi heaping praise on Shashi Tharoor for his debating skills.
Yeah, he's a brilliant man. I love to listen to him.
Modi was commending the opposition lawmaker for his passionate argument in the Oxford Union debate on whether Britain owes India.
Yeah, this is what I did my reaction to. It was a fantastic 20 minutes.
The essence of Tharoor's
I love watching it, but it was very difficult to listen to.
British rule took on India's economy.
India's share of the world economy when Britain arrived on its shores was 23%. By the time the British left, it was down to below 4%. Why? Simply because India had been governed for the benefit of Britain. Britain's rise for 200 years was financed by its depredations in India. In fact, Britain's industrial revolution was actually premised upon the deindustrialization of India.
Modi said Tharoor's speech gelled with the feelings of patriotic Indians on the issue and also shows what one can achieve with effective arguments by saying the right things at the right place.
As far as I'm concerned, the ability to acknowledge a wrong that has been done, to simply say sorry, will go a far, far, far longer way than some percentage of GDP in the form of aid. What is required, it seems to me, is accepting the principle that reparations are owed. Personally, I'd be quite happy if it was £1 a year for the next 200 years after the last 200 years of Britain and India.
Brilliant speech. Brilliant speech.
Britain owes reparations to her former colonies.
You had the other people stunned.
Oxford Union, a debating society in the English city of Oxford, whose members are drawn from the University of Oxford. And just in case you're curious to know who won the debate, well, Tharoor's team won the debate with 185 votes to 56.
Yeah. No doubt of that.
Report, we on World is One.
So, there we go. More pain for us Brits watching this to see how bad we are, how bad we were. You know, will it change? I don't think so. Just recently, years ago, UK had brought people from the Caribbean, Jamaica, the West Indies, all these places here under a thing called the Trade Winds Agreement. Now, within the last year, they want to send them back. These people are naturalised UK citizens. They've been here for 30, 40 years. So how can they just sort of send them back because they don't want them? This is just British bullshit. It is embarrassing actually at this present time being British. So, if you like it, give me a thumbs up. If not, give me a thumbs down. And I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.